The MG ZS has been losing its luster lately as more and more contenders bring in their A-game in the value crossover world. Well, MG will not take this development sitting down as they've brought in their newest top-spec variant of the MG ZS, the ZS Trophy. Will this MG ZS Trophy have what it takes to reclaim the value crossover crown? It's time for us to find out. Let's do this. Hello guys, I'm Reagan and welcome back to another wet car review. If you're new to my channel, I hope you click that subscribe button for your regular dose of Philippine automotive content. If you're my subscriber already, well, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. After, you click that like button. Also, special thanks to MG Congressional for providing the MG ZS Trophy to do this review. If you are within their area and you have a need for an MG, head on down there to their showroom and check them out. For any inquiries, you may contact the person in my pinned comment below. MG had the advantage of being the first to bring in a feature-packed value crossover to market in the form of the MG ZS. It went on to become the brand's local bestseller, never mind that it had an anemic engine plus that archaic 4-speed automatic. Now all was well and good until newer contenders arrived, such as the Geely Coolray. Well, the MG ZS still kept some of its thunder, but in the face of these newer contenders, well, its age was starting to show. Not anymore. The MG ZS Trophy aims to remedy that. You see, the ZS Trophy is tagged as the range topper in the local MG ZS lineup, but it may as well be an all-new model. You see, we get a ton of improvements here, but the good news there is the price still remains competitive. This top-spec ZS Trophy has a retail price of 1,158,888 Philippine pesos, making it still the most affordable, fully loaded value crossover available today. Now, the first obvious change here is the front fascia. The ZS Trophy no longer looks like a Mazda CX-5. Rather, it looks more like a lifted Ford Mustang now. Now, that front grille has been reworked into this obsidian matrix front grille, and these LED headlights no longer have those London Eye LED DRLs. Now, as I mentioned guys, these are LED headlight units now, so that's also a good thing for the ZS Trophy. Now, the LED DRLs are also in a check design, and if you look closer inside the headlight housing, you'll see crystals. Crystals in your headlight housing. Now that is cool, guys. Now, the ZS Trophy also gets some halogen fog lights here, but considering the function of these fog lights, well, a set of yellow halogen fog lights is still so much better than a set of white LED fog lights. On the side, the ZS Trophy gets the same silhouette as a regular ZS, although the Trophy is a little bit longer. It also has a trophy badge on the C-pillar of the driver's side in a classic font style. Now, the ZS Trophy also loses that matte aluminum trim that's found on the bottom of the doors, and we get a different design for its 17-inch alloy wheels. Now, MG calls these wheels a tomahawk design, and if you peer inside those wheels, you'll see a set of red painted brake calipers, which adds another 5 horsepower to the ZS Trophy. Just kidding. Now, the mechanicals of the Trophy is the same as the other ZS in the lineup. We get 4-wheel disc brakes here, and for the suspension, we have a MacPherson setup in the front and a torsion beam at the back. Now, the ground clearance is still at 161 millimeters, which is the same as the other ZS variants. The ZS Trophy's rear end gets a set of redesigned LED taillights, which is a huge improvement over the regular taillights found in the ZS Alpha. The rear bumper also gets some design cues here, like a pair of reflectors, plus those twin faux exhaust garnishes, because the actual exhaust pipe can be found underneath the rear bumper. Now, this is pretty similar to the Ford Territory, and it doesn't really add much street cred in my eyes. Now, the ZS Trophy's trunk still opens like the other ZS, which means you have to pull on this MG logo in the center. See? And once you pop that trunk open, you see that you have the same space and the trunk layout as the other ZS. The Trophy gets 488 liters of cargo capacity here, which is good enough for one medium-sized luggage there, plus a few more items on the sides. Now, the good thing here is the cargo floor of this ZS Trophy can also be configured to be shallower or deeper depending on your usage. Now, if you need more space than what 488 liters will give you, well, the rear seats also fold down, so that would expand your cargo capacity to over 1,300 liters. Now, this is where the ZS Trophy gets a massive improvement from the ZS Alpha. What we have here is a 1.3-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged petrol engine that puts out 161 horsepower and 230 Newton-meters of torque. Now, that's a nearly 50 horsepower increase from the ZS Alpha. Now, that's turbo power for you, baby. Now, all of that horses and torque is sent to the front wheels via a more updated 6-speed automatic transmission. Finally, guys, a drivetrain that is worthy of the MG's racing heritage. Now, all of that power means that the ZS Trophy is only second to the Geely Coolray when it comes to engine output. The thing is, the ZS Trophy is 100 kilos lighter than the Geely Coolray Sport. Do you guys want to see a comparo between those two cars, the Geely Coolray versus this MG ZS Trophy? Well, give this video 1,000 likes and I'll make it happen. Now, the good thing about this smaller engine displacement plus turbo power is that you get a better fuel efficiency without sacrificing performance. On a city drive, I was able to get 9.8 kilometers per liter, and when I took this ZS Trophy on the highway, it went up to 17.2 kilometers per liter. Now, both of those fuel economy runs were done in normal mode because the ZS Trophy doesn't get an eco mode. Thank goodness. The ZS Trophy gets a massive improvement when it comes to the cabin materials and its tech features. This cockpit layout is a more race-inspired format already, and I am really digging this look, guys. Now, in fact, I would even go as far as saying that this is probably the best looking cockpit in the value subcompact crossover world. Now, the ZS Trophy gets these faux leather seats here, and I like that they put some carbon fiber weave on the side of these leather seats, plus contrast red stitching. Even the headrest gets the MG crest, which is an awesome touch. Now, the driver's seat gets power adjustments, but the front passenger only has to make do with manual adjustments, which is not really a big issue for me. The thing is, the Trophy gets heated seats as well, which is it's a nice feature. It's a cool feature. No. It's not cool, guys. It's hot. And I don't see any need for it here in tropical Philippines. Now, when you look at the steering wheel of the Trophy, man, guys, this has got to be the most gorgeous looking steering wheel in the value subcompact crossover world. I mean, the steering wheel looks like it belongs in the cockpit of a sports car rather than a crossover. We get full leather here, plus we have perforated leather on the 9 and 3 o'clock positions. We've got a flat bottom here, plus we have that hands-free buttons for connectivity, and we also have a cruise control stalk found behind the steering wheel. Now, the only thing that's missing here is a set of paddle shifters, and this wheel would have been perfect. The thing is, the wheel also only tilts. It doesn't telescope, guys. So yeah, it's not as perfect as it looks. The thing is, well, it still looks really gorgeous, at least in my eyes. Now, when you look at the instrument gauge cluster of the ZS Trophy, it also received a massive upgrade over the ZS Alpha. You see, the ZS Alpha gets analog instrument gauge cluster, but this ZS Trophy now has a fully digital colored instrument gauge cluster. Now, I also like the fact that we have a large screen in the middle, and it's colored, and it shows you all of your vital vehicle information. Now, we also have, well, digital numerical format for your tachometer and speedometer, which is not the usual traditional approach, but it is quite legible and easy to read, especially when you're driving this thing at a fast clip. Now, when you move over from that digital instrument gauge cluster, we move to the infotainment system, which again has received a huge upgrade over the ZS Alpha. This is now a 10-inch colored touchscreen infotainment system that comes with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and a 360-degree view camera with a 3D mode. Now, granted, guys, the the 360-degree view camera image is a few steps behind the other competitors, but still, we get a 360-degree view camera here and 3D mode and Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. I mean, guys, that's pretty tough to beat. Now, when it comes to the safety bits of this MG ZS Trophy, it also has a full host of safety features that you can now see on your screen. Now, MG even took it a step further by adding a set of advanced driver assist systems that you can also see on the screen, which makes this MG ZS Trophy very safe on the road. In fact, it is so safe that it received a 5-star safety rating in the ASEAN NCAP and a 4-star safety rating in the Australian NCAP. Now, moving from that infotainment system and those safety bits, we go down to your climate control system here, and the Trophy gets a manual climate control setup, but it's still a different layout from the ZS Alpha, and well, it has a tiny quirk to it. You see, when you toggle that on and off switch on your climate control, it doesn't turn your air conditioning on and off. Rather, it pulls up the screen on your infotainment system, and you'll have to press on the power button on the screen in order to turn your air conditioning on and off. It's kind of weird, it's kind of quirky, but well, it is what it is, and you'd get used to it after like 10 or 15 minutes of driving this thing. Now, moving down further, we have here your row of connectivity ports. We have a couple of USB charge port, 12-volt outlet, and we have here your shifter that it looks so gorgeous, guys. It has this MG logo right there in the middle of the shifter, plus it's surrounded by this carbon fiber weave that, you know, it's really appealing to me. Now, we also have another upgrade here. We have an electronic park brake with an auto hold feature in the Trophy, something that we don't get in the ZS Alpha. Now, we also have a couple of cup holders here, which looks like a mini cup holders to me, guys, because they're kind of tiny, and well, I don't think they'll pass my Clean Canteen test. I have my Clean Canteen here. Let's try it. See? Nope. It won't pass my Clean Canteen test, so I just put my Clean Canteen right here on the bottle holder of the door card. Now, we also have a leather padded and the red stitch center armrest right here in the middle, plus we also have a panoramic sunroof up top here in the ZS Trophy. Now, as I mentioned, guys, this is one beautiful looking cockpit because if you look at the cabin materials used, it has received a huge upgrade. We have a leather dashboard here. The top dashboard is now leather, and we also have that same faux leather here in a carbon fiber trim, plus it has red stitching on the middle dashboard, and we have the same material found here in the inserts of your door cards. Plus, we also have leather wrap, faux leather wrap here on the sides of the center tunnel, and it even has a red stitch here. Plus, we have a grab handle here for your front passenger in case the driver of the ZS Trophy is taking this out canyon carving. Now, we also get a few areas that are hard plastics here. The lower part of the dashboard is hard plastic, as well as the door cards, guys. But I'm not complaining. For the price you're paying for the ZS Trophy, I don't mind getting a few hard plastic areas because, man, all of the relevant pieces here that needs to be softly padded, they've done that. So yeah, this MG ZS Trophy, it's got to have one of the most, well, beautiful cabins in the value subcompact crossover world. The backseat space of the ZS Trophy is similar to the backseat of a ZS Alpha. It's pretty good for a subcompact crossover. Now, I'm 5'6", guys, and this is my driving position, and I get 7 inches of knee room here, plus around 5 inches of headroom. Now, as I said, it is pretty good for a subcompact crossover. The thing is, the amenities of the ZS Trophy has received a lot of improvements here in the backseat over the ZS Alpha. We get rear AC vents here now, and we also have a couple of USB charge ports. You know, guys, all of these improvements and the features that this ZS Trophy got makes me feel so bad for the people who already bought a ZS Alpha. Now let's add a little bit more salt into their wounds by taking this thing out for a drive. Alright, guys, so we're now driving the MG ZS Trophy, and the first up, visibility. The forward visibility of this crossover is average for a subcompact crossover, but the sideways visibility is a bit compromised by the fact that we have a taller than usual belt line here. However, we do have blind spot monitoring here in this car, so that is a blessing every time you change lanes in your MG ZS Trophy. Now, when it comes to the acceleration of this MG ZS Trophy, man, I am blown away. This crossover can really haul ass. You see, in drive mode, which is normal mode, it doesn't penalize you in favor of fuel economy. The thing is, when you shift it to sport mode, dude, this thing can rival the Geely Coolray Sport. In sport mode, yeah, you could really feel all that pull from down low, and it doesn't lose breath even as you reach the top end of the rev range. You could really feel that turbo spooling up, and once it does, yep, hang on to your pants, guys, because wow, this thing can really roll. Now, another notable improvement here is the NVH levels. The cabin is quiet and refined and feels like it's only a couple of notches below the offerings coming from a European brand. It is that good. You don't hear any tire noise coming inside the cabin even at highway speeds, and the wind noise has been minimized. Now, I also like the fact that even if I went through some potholes and some not so good roads, guys, well, you don't hear any noise or rattles coming into the cabin. So they also improved on the suspension damping of this MG ZS Trophy. Now, I am truly impressed, guys. Now, let's talk about the not so good points about the driving character of this MG ZS Trophy. And I can only detect one: the steering feel. You see, when you're driving around at slow city speeds, it's okay. It's light enough to drive around, and it has a good amount of heft tuned into it. I did detect a slight hint of a dead spot right smack in the center of this thing. Yeah, so going around town slowly, like what we're doing now, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be normal. The thing is, once you go above 60 kilometers per hour, that's when things become vague. The steering feel of this thing becomes vague and floaty, and the steering response itself is blunt. In fact, the steering response is as sharp as a bread knife. Now, the biggest irony there, guys, is, well, SAIC owns MG, and SAIC also has a joint venture partnership with Volkswagen, and the Volkswagen vehicles that I've tested out have some pretty good steering feels. So you'd expect that SAIC would probably get some of that steering tuning from Volkswagen and apply it to MG. But well, they still didn't do that for this MG ZS Trophy. But other than that, guys, yeah, the drive is good, the acceleration is fantastic, the NVH is phenomenal, but the steering feel, that is the only bummer that I've detected in the driving feel of this MG ZS Trophy. Overall, guys, if you're considering an MG ZS, well, the ZS Trophy is the variant to get. It has a massive improvement, a big leap forward versus the ZS Alpha, and it has brought the MG ZS back to its fighting form. The MG ZS Trophy is a massive improvement over the ZS Alpha. It's a huge flex on what MG is really capable of. Now, the ZS Trophy has just put all of the other value subcompact crossovers on red alert because it's now here to reclaim the value crossover crown. And considering the price of this thing, plus the features and the performance that it brings to the table, well, you better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Thanks for watching.